and band together? Well, that's why there's Band. It's a mobile app that allows people to come together using common interests. With Band, you can find fellow gamers, chat, schedule gaming sessions, and conduct polls. Stage epic battles with friends while sharing videos and photos along the way. So try Band today. Band. Be together.
10 seconds to go. Radiant's pick.
Good evening and welcome back to the C-Star League Game 2 of a best-of-3 match between Vanderbilt University and Rutgers University Esports Division 1 squads. This game is brought to you by Band Gaming, the #1 and premier social app of the CSL, the best way for you and your crew to play, communicate, and win. Twitch, the biggest supporter of esports in the world, biggest broadcaster. Without them, we would not be what we are today, and we appreciate their support. And finally, the newest member of the CSL family, Asus Republic of Gamers, joining us with all their wonderful products like monitors, laptops, routers, graphics cards, motherboards, and more, inside or out. The way you win is with an Asus. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Gorgon the Wonder Cow. This is Game 2. For those of you who are just joining us, there is a favorite here. The favorite is Rutgers University, as they've only dropped one game all year. Vanderbilt are the underdogs, and boy, Gorgon, that last game showed it.
Yeah, they are under the underdog. Like, they are underneath the underdog that already got hit by a truck. But there's still, there's still hope, I guess.
There is. I mean,
three. They are already picking,
right.
I think, what is much more competitively viable with their start of a Keeper of the Light, a hero that works very well into a lot of very popular heroes. Right?
And they have few things going for them this time around. Last time, their carry, the Juggernaut, had a very bad internet connection to the point where they almost considered stopping the game so that he could go and find an Ethernet cord or purchase one to play. So that will help a lot to have a carry, a core, who's not having lag issues. And second, they tried something that was a bit of a comfort draft for them in that support pudge. It didn't pan out because it was so dependent on the laning phase. And like you said, Abaddon and Keeper of the Light, already heroes who are less dependent on absolutely destroying your opponent in lane. Keeper of the Light, the king of holding that high ground, which is what they needed against Rutgers last time around. That said, Rutgers was doing some next level stuff, Gorgon. I mean, we saw the reverse smokes from the high ground. We saw rotations that were absolutely insane. That rotation of the bottom lane that sort of put the nail in Vanderbilt's coffin, where they sent in Timbersaw deep and then immediately TP'd 3 heroes to the shrine for a fast rotation. This very clean play from Rutgers University.
Yeah, Rutgers are showing exactly why they are near the very top of our expectations for this league, and I see no reason why they should change their game plan. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? They can absolutely play the same sort of fast style that they were playing before. At worst case scenario, this series goes to 3, and they have to adjust at that point.
Absolutely, and they're going to be comfortable. They take away a hero that the Vanderbilt guys used last time. They're going to use for themselves. With the Juggernaut, a great hero right now, very popular, but also strong with the Ogre Magi. That Bloodlust, I imagine Juggernaut will put together an Echo Saber potentially. Just means an insane amount of opening damage. The Magic community is going to be really great against Keeper of the Light, trying to stop them from pushing down waves. It's a good pickup, but more importantly, he fits the Rutgers style, which is online early and aggressive rotations for strong play, and that's what they did. Remember last time they planted a Slark? He got his farm, but they were already running 4 and full attack mode by 8 minutes in. If they do that again, we could find Vanderbilt in some serious trouble. That said, both of these teams, whoever wins, has a tall order next week. We are in the round of 32. Next week, the winner of this moves on to face UBC, University of British Columbia, who has been a phenomenal team so far this season, and they are fighting for, if you guys are just joining us, their share of $50,000. The winning team Okay, so the top floor fly to Toronto for the land final
Exotic
in
Toronto.
May. Exotic. Hey, I'm excited. I've never been to Toronto. I'm pretty
Never been to
excited.
Toronto, huh?
No, why would I have gone to Toronto? They speak.
Well,
I don't
you're
know.
Hawaiian, so
Yeah,
like,
it's a
probably
long
never been
way.
a lot of places.
I've been a lot. I've hiked Machu Picchu. I'll have you know. That said,
Let me rephrase. You've probably been to a lot of places that seem exotic to me.
Yes.
But you've not been to a lot of places that seem very plain to me, having grown up on the Canadian.
I can't wait to see the exotic things Toronto has. It's like the Indies of the North. Anyway, that said, they go to the land final, and the top team takes home $20,000 in scholarships. Number 2, I think, is $10,000. There's $50,000 in prizes on the line. So that is a lot to play for, and these teams are 4 to 5 games away from making that happen. So that's a big deal, and it's reflected in the play that Rutgers brought to the match. Now, Vanderbilt didn't play badly. They just got caught with their pants down one too many times and had a draft that did not have any forgiveness to that. Tell me, Gorgon, does this draft look better?
10 seconds to go.
It started out better.
I think it looks better. I don't know if I'm convinced that it is where they need to be. So Shadow Shaman is an interesting pick.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been pointing at this hero as somebody who got a quote-unquote substantial buff with, I think, 18 damage increase over the last patch. And moreover, he is just, like, able to push down towers. He's able to nuke people down in wave with Ether Shock. I do not think... My theory of crafting does not imply that this hero is as strong as a lot of people think that he is. And remember, this is a hero that was not picked at all in Boston, was not picked at all in the Kiev qualifiers in any region. He's the only hero to not be picked in any Kiev qualifier in any region. He did have his base armor increase as well, which helps, but the base attack range reduction from 500 to 400 makes him a much, much more difficult support to hold. So all of that said, I think that Vanderbilt have a nice beginning to a draft here. They need to get a pushing carry. Ursa sort of fits that. Not quite as much as I would have liked to see, but definitely he can chew through towers very effectively. But Rutgers, like you'd said, they can get online pretty quickly here with the Juggernaut, Ogre Magi, Jakiro. And I think more than the draft, Vanderbilt really just need to make sure that they don't get caught off guard again. Like, they need to be prepared for the aggression.
Yeah, and that's
the number one thing.
That's what it came down to. I mean, we saw them go 5-1, I think it was, in favor of Rutgers in the first 3 or 4 minutes. So that really, I think, sets the stage for Rutgers' style of play and what they bring to the CSL. And it's not uncommon to see this kind of play. In fact, if I equated them to not today, earlier when we were talking about the sort of turnaround smokes, but in between matches I was thinking about it and going back sort of over the qualifiers that we watched, and they have a very similar frenetic pace to not today's style, which was aggressive and in your face during all of those qualifiers. And I think picks like this Tinker and this Ogre Magi and Jakiro just reinstate that we're going to see that. Tinker is going to be very difficult for this lineup to deal with, I think, in the mid lane. They have the split push potential should it go late. I'm a little bit worried. I like the Ursa pickup, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, and also Ursa's really bad in the Tinker, right? Like,
right.
This is a hero that does basically nothing except right-click into a hero that gives a 100% blind miss rate at level 1. Right?
Yeah.
That's not a really great matchup. This is a stellar game to pick up Tinker, in fact, because Abaddon also has a bit of difficulty if it is going to be a core, which he does appear to be going core. He might even be like Radiance Abba. I mean, he can burn people down very slowly, but in terms of actually getting fast combat out, he's relying on right click as well, as is the sniper.
Oh my gosh! And they get Dark Seers, so it's even they're going to be able to kite the Abaddon if necessary. They're going to be able to close on the sniper very quickly. We've got a couple of Blink Dagger heroes here. I think that sniper is going to have a very difficult game.
Yeah, I agree. This is not an easy game to play sniper.
Definitely not. All right,
so it looks like it's going to be a mid sniper as well. So mid sniper into Tinker can be pretty difficult too.
So it looks like we're going to see a Rutgers Dire Vanderbilt Radiant. Should be a pretty good matchup in this game. Based on the draft, who are you giving this to?
Draft?
We'll take skill out of the equation, because based on the record, you got to give it to Vanderbilt, right?
Right. So I think Vanderbilt have a better draft, but not by an unimaginably large margin. Right. Like I think, or excuse me, I think Rutgers have a better draft, but not by an unimaginably large margin. I think that it's Super Bowl disadvantage if Vanderbilt shore up the other problems that they had last game.
So apologies, Rutgers will be Radiant this time around, so we've got that fixed for you. Dyer will be Rutgers Radiant, Dyer Vanderbilt. Should be a good matchup. Everything's where it needs to be. Let's introduce these two teams real quick. For the Dyer side, Vanderbilt University Esports in a game that determines their future in this tournament. If they lose this, they are donezo. We're going to have Maxim playing the very important Ursa in this match. We're going to keep an eye on him. Swag Muffins playing the defensive Coddle. We're going to have Starfire Phoenix making it happen on the Sniper. I am not a spy. Will be watching from the shadows as the Shadow Shaman. And last but not least, Karate Man Johnson will be regenning on the Abaddon.
All right, and here for Rutgers University on the side, we've got Storm. So that taking is that going to be a mid Jakiro? That's Storm. So that was our all-star mid last time. So
no, I think he normally plays support. From what I understand, he just has a very good Shadow Fiend, so they had him play it.
That confused the living hell out of me for just a hair. Okay, so Aaron is going to be zipping about on our Dark Seer. D and E is taking out two heads with Ogre Magi. Tismic is this time taking mid with Tinker, and WWW 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3 is spinning around on the Juggernaut.
You know, I love when teams do this, right? Now, granted, this is the hard part of the tournament because all of the games get cast live, so that means that your future opponents now actually have things they can watch to sort of make a book on you. And so they're going to watch this and hear us say, okay, he normally plays support and isn't always the mid-Shadow Fiend. But I love when I see teams do that because they're showing future teams in the tournament, assuming they go forward, as well as their current opponents. Well, you don't know who's going to play what because we're totally comfortable putting our 4 or our 5 in the mid position if they have a strong hero there. It makes planning drafts difficult.
The fact that they can do that as well makes it so that early ambiguous picks are really, really difficult to build into the draft until you see more, right? So if you pick a hero who could mid but could also offlane, for example, a Timbersaw, it's very difficult to know for sure how that's going to be played if you're playing against Rutgers because you know their support player can also go mid.
And now we often talk about sort of the MMR levels at the collegiate gaming. Yes, these are not 7 to 9K players usually. Sometimes we do get that. That said, though, once we get to those final 8 teams, it's a pretty high level of play. And having that advantage could really come in handy. Speaking of that, let's go up top where we're going to see the first blood. Aaron trying to get away. Doesn't have the mana or the ability to surge, so he will get caught out. And that is an early kill for the Dyers, which they definitely needed to get this game off right.
You really need to respect the shackles. And Darkseer seemed like a weird pick in this particular game to me, if only because that mana drain is really good against him.
Right. So Storm Soul is going to come up. Yeah, and that's exactly what he ran into. They took the mana away. He could not get out. No surge available at that point. He was ion shelling for lane advantage, and it's a good pickoff for them. It's needed. The question is it enough? Because, like we said, the draft for Radiant, for the record, guys, in case you were just joining us, Radiant took the first match, so Rutgers is up by 1. There's a little bit of a bug in the interface, so not able to show who is ahead, but it is Radiant. That said, they don't need to win the lanes as much as they did last time. So how much of an advantage does Dyer need to try to accrue during the laning phase, if any?
Yeah, I think that they don't need to try to accrue advantage in the... They do need to make sure they start pushing towers down before the Tinker has boots of travel and is getting around. So
that makes sense.
It depends on how fast the Tinker gets ready.
So it's all about Tinker getting ready. And if Tinker gets ready as fast as my wife does for work, then there's no chance for Rutgers to win.
Wow,
that said,
that for work really saved that from the abyss of the CSL. Yeah, here we go.
Let's go top where, again, we're having another fight. Not a spy. Goes with the Hex. Aaron has to pull back, though. That mana leak doing some work. Aaron stops before the stun goes off. Has to stick around, though. Storm finally able to get some harass up and force Shadow Shaman. Meanwhile, Sniper going to get picked off here on the mid with a nice rotation and Abaddon down on the bottom. So the 1-2 punch, it was almost a 1-2-3 with the Shadow Shaman up top, but a nice rotation by DNE, and they get a kill on the Sniper. So even though Vanderbilt got off to a strong start, Rutgers is not willing to take this line down. This is their style of play, man. Hard rotations, pop you in the nose and not let you get away. Swag Muffin's very low. Aaron pops the surge. That'll be another kill. Aaron may go down in response, but this is something they're not super mad about. Maxim in some trouble. He's going to probably fall here. He will. Do they have another tick of the poison? They don't, so he will be able to walk out, but he is super low. I am not a spy. Has to risk his life to get the save. No more liquid fire procs, but he's got the speed boost. Turn into a chicken. He'll get picked off by the tower. Maybe a little bit of chaos theory coming out from Rutgers. A little too much confidence.
Yeah, well, Ian, you see that Ursa walk away with literally... and you start to feel pretty confident, like, oh, there's not going to be an Ursa in the lane, but you definitely need to respect
the power of the tower. And that's what it came down to. The chicken is God at this level of the game. So two stuns at level 3 too is really tough to deal with.
Yeah, but the other lanes seem to be going pretty well. We haven't had a chance to check in on them, but Rutgers are, I mean, when you have a solo Juggernaut getting a one-on-one kill against an Abaddon at the stage of the game, that's pretty unforgivable.
Absolutely.
And that's a really good position to find yourself in.
Yeah, look.
He's also on top of last hits and
I was gonna say his deny count is insane right now. 1, 2, 3 is not only at 31 last hits, he's at 27 denies. So Abaddon is stuck at level 2 while Juggernaut is level 5, and he's solo winning against him. So and he's gonna get another kill here. Karate Man can't juke. He goes down. Man, yeah. Juggernaut in the hand of 1, 2, 3 is impressive to say the least.
Well, also. I'm not
All
sure
right,
if this
hold on. We're getting another fight up top as Maxim wants Storm. I'm Not a Spy comes in. They've got the shackle and the chicken. If they can track him down, jukes through the trees, buys some time, but he'll die. Meanwhile, in the mid, another gank on the sniper.
Yeah. When that Abaddon died down bottom, he did not cast the Apodic Shield. He had full mana. I'm not sure why. It feels like Karate Man Johnson is not super comfortable on this hero, to be honest.
No.
Which to me is not any better than picking heroes that you're comfortable on that are just really weak in competitive play.
Right.
Neither of those is a good solution.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about this level. If you have a hero that I guess you could consider middle of the road on the meta, but you play it really well, it's worth picking up. Uh-oh. Oh, no. He hits 6, goes with the Omni, burns him down. The TPs come out, but they'll get there too late. And now he has the Ring of Aquila as well as the Healing Salve on standby. His phase boots are online. Tismic is happily farming away at level 6, 24 and 10. Ursa's the only one keeping marginal pace, but he's about to get boarded down here as D&E rotates, smokes out, comes to the high ground. Aaron comes in, puts up some damage. He'll drop down, but they'll finish the Ursa. Meanwhile, in the mid, Tismic getting a ganked. Nice shackle. Gotta respect the shackle, but he's inside a tower. He'll take a lot of damage. Swag Muffin is low. They do finish the Tinker, but they lose the Shadow Shaman in the process. Starfire needs to get out of there before the rotation shows up.
Yeah, I do like that Vanderbilt are rotating a lot more this game. They're being very proactive around the map, other than this offlane Abaddon who's been left completely alone. And that, honestly, will probably be the bit that really comes back to haunt them later on in this game. That this Juggernaut is sitting at 3,700 net worth, almost a full 1,000 over his next closest anyone in the game. At 7 minutes into the game, with no rotation attempts to come down on him, that they're going to regret that in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if they're not already. The gold lead is at 2,000. XP is as well. We're going to pull over to the net worth a little bit early here because I want you to see he's at a full 1,000 net worth over the Ursa, who's been able to farm pretty effectively. Tinker and Sniper pretty much dead even. The problem is Tinker's going to be online a heck of a lot faster, and now he's at a point where he can really keep Starfire in some trouble. He's not going to get those last hits in, can harass him at a huge range advantage. And again, look how slow Starfire got off of 2 shots from a Tinker and 1 slap from D&E.
Yeah, so one of the problems with the Sniper is even though he has a range advantage for right clicks, he doesn't bottle run. So he's not able to control the runes against the Tinker, which gives Tinker basically unlimited heat-seeking missile harass.
Right.
And that heat-seeking missile harass is much better than right click.
Oh, Storm Select comes in. D&E can't get the stun off in time. He throws up the slow. Storm waiting for the chance to get the ice. No, he doesn't actually have ice path level, so this gank will come to naught.
Yeah, he wants to slow from the dual breath, from the ice portion of dual breath. He just couldn't line it up.
Yeah. So, and again, he was able to juke out of DNE's stun just barely. That said, DNE comes forward, puts up the slow and the stun. Soledad goes out, gets the dot. DNE with the right clicks, has to back away, though, because here comes Maxim, putting in some work. They do get the coddle, but it will cost them the jack. And DNE should have enough time to get himself out of this. He has to be careful, though, because Maxim is on the fly. He's got the face boots, 4 seconds left. Shouldn't be able to catch him, though. And it looks like we will now have a little bit of a connection issue coming out from the Juggernaut. So it's just the hero, apparently, has issues with connections.
Yeah, but look where the Juggernaut is in the mid lane. He's got Omni Slash. He's invisible. He's just crossed the threshold, and he is about to grab himself a very easy kill in the mid lane.
It looks like the League of Legends finals or semifinals might be wrapping up for the night, so we may have some of those viewers joining us. If you guys are joining us from that tournament, welcome to the real skill game. I'm just kidding. Not really. Well, as 1, 2, 3, 4 here is prepared to go ham on this sniper. I don't think he stands much of a chance. That's the Omni.
Skill game right there. Click R, get your kill.
Click R, get kill, run fast. But the cooldown's high, so that's cool. In about 2...
not anywhere near able to. So now he's come down here and a lot out of this either. This is... We're not yet to the point where this Juggernaut's making his net worth known, but I think if you're Vanderbilt, you've got a sense that he's gotten away from you.
Yeah, he's got 2,000 on hand. The other side of the coin that we're not talking about right now is Tismic is 400 gold away from his boots of travel, which we all know means Tinker becomes a massive issue here as soon as those are up. And that split push is going to allow Juggernaut to farm even faster, and I'm starting to worry heavily for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, well, he only needs like one more item in order to himself, that Juggernaut, and nobody is anywhere remotely close to online for Vanderbilt. The Ursa, I mean, the Ursa's doing a pretty good job of staying out ahead, but everybody else is just kind of falling around.
Tismic gets in trouble, though. Starfire will get the kill, and that's going to get him right before he finished off his boots. So that's a huge... No, he bought him. Never mind. Good kill, but not before the boots went off. Aaron now wants to play on the Shadow Shaman, has to back away. Beware the chicken. The Hex is real. The stun doesn't catch, but he should have enough speed to stop Aaron. Aaron goes down. Jakiro wants to get not a spy, but the Shackle is there. Respect the Shaman, I think, is the story of this game so far. He is the saving grace for Vanderbilt, but will die in return for Jakiro. And he's the one who's allowed Ursa to at least stay competitive in this game.
Yeah, that's about a 500 gold swing with all those 3 kills combined. It's about 1/8 of the overall net worth advantage. A couple more mistakes like that, and maybe this Ursa is able to go out and grab a pretty fast Roshan or something. He's going for a ganking build, so he is going to try to rush out Blink Dagger first.
That's tough, though.
I think is a smart build if he can get in on people with this Tinker not around, but because he didn't get it before Tinker had boots to travel, that's kind of a tough call.
Exactly. So the idea is you want to get that blink up before you feel like Juggernaut's doing his thing, try to get a pick on the mid, stop Tinker before he gets boots of travel, and it just didn't happen. And that really puts them, again, on the back foot like we saw last time around. Their build, again, required them to get off the ground early. And at the end of the day, I think that it's a tall order. Vanderbilt, not to say they can't do it, but they're going to really need to be on top of their rotations and play very, very clean Dota from this point on to manage this 4,000 gold lead that's already on the side of Rutgers University.
Yeah, and no matter what they do, unless Vanderbilt just start rolling in the kills, it's very difficult to see them coming back on that net worth because they don't have anybody that farms as fast as a Tinker, and they don't have anybody that farms as sustainably as a Juggernaut, right? So, no matter how fast they farm on an Ursa and on a Sniper, probably Juggernaut Tinker are just going to continue to outpace them, which means they're going to have to play from behind until they manage to get
Storm should know this is coming.
Powers or with kills.
So they smoked, but unfortunately the fringe of the smoke clipped the Sniper next to the creeps on the high ground. So Storm knew that something was up, guessed the rotation, and was able to dodge. Though that's not going to stop them from going in. Here comes Ursa, surprises Storm, who's playing maybe a little too aggressive. The Macropyre goes down, and it's a good Macropyre. It splits his opponent's team, but there was just no follow-up. Like, Macropyre is one of those spells that you want to use not necessarily as much for damage output as controlling the flow of a fight, right? Especially with an Ursa on the team.
Yeah, to some degree, but really I don't know that you can, with a level 1 Macropyre, the damage isn't good enough that usually you can split people with it so much as you want to put it on top of where your heroes are so that your opponents can't fight your heroes in it. Kind of forcing a breakaway in terms of gappage. I just don't think there was anybody there to capitalize on the space created.
Oh,
wow. 25 health.
Wow,
Max going to go down if he's not careful. Oh, wow.
So Maxim dodges a bullet, and that bullet spins around and decides to kill the Shadow Shaman instead. So story of the game, right, for Vanderbilt is they dodge the one shot but take collateral on the second. And the guys from Rutgers just not letting up. 4,000 net worth, 3,000 experience. The Tinker has his boots of travel. What's he got coming out to him right now? Looks like he's bringing something out.
Yeah.
No.
So the Juggernaut also going for a Battle Fury, and he will have it by the end of this minute.
Jeez.
The fact that he's so far ahead that he managed to get that Battle Fury without it really costing him any combat efficacy is a really bad sign, especially in the current meta. You would normally not be able to justify a Battle Fury build because it comes out too late and the creeps aren't worth as much, and you really just want to get combat-oriented stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can actually contribute early on enough in this game, but he's been doing a lot by himself. He's 2-0-2.
Yeah, you want to get that Echo Saber potential or something like that at around 15. Oh, hold on a second. Shackle here in the mid. Tismet can't do much to help out, though. This will be a dead Ogre, and where I'm not a spy go, so does the Death Train. And they really are relying on him in this early game to keep themselves in it. But he doesn't. He's going to be able to go Battle Fury by 15 and have an Echo Saber or whatever his next choice is, a Yasha perhaps. Okay, so he'll go Manta, yeah, I think you're right. But he'll have that by 19 to 20, which is insane.
He honestly, he might have that by like 17.
Jeez.
He'll at least have the Yasha up by like 17, 30 if the space keeps up.
Nice play by Maxim, by the way. Dodges just outside, so it was a good awareness. He's in the trees. He's a little bit stuck right now. He's being spam pinged by himself. Okay, he's pinging himself. I was a little worried that maybe somebody spotted him there. He's saying, guys, I need somebody to help me get out of this pickle. Decides to blink and just run for the hills.
Pickle achieved. Yeah, he should be ready to go into Roche here pretty soon, but he's going to build a Desolator too. They're not building any lifesteal on this Ursa, which is a little questionable to me because there's not a lot of Roche control.
Right.
If snipers and Keeper of Light are able to apply pressure onto a tower, there's not a lot that Rutgers can do to smell out a Roche attempt, right? It's just too difficult to keep that kind of map control while there's pressure. And Sniper does have the Dragonlance, so that pressure is potentially achievable.
Absolutely. Now we are at 15-minute mark. Juggernaut is about halfway to his Yasha and closing fast as the respawns just came out, the 15-minute mark. So he will have the Yasha up here by 16. And you may be right that we're going to see a 17-minute Manta, which, how devastating is that for Vanderbilt to see a Manta come out that quickly?
They're just going to lose towers.
Yeah.
They don't have the potential to fight into that, right? The Sniper's all single target damage. The Ursa's all single target damage. They kind of have to clump because the opponent's Darkseer will pull them together. And that Manta with an Omni Slash in a vacuum is pretty much the whole team dead.
Much dead. All right, let's look back.
Very sad.
Wrecked, brutal. All right, so down the bottom, we've got Tismet clearing lanes, doing what he does best. The Blink Dagger almost up for him, which makes him very hard to stop because he can push out. So for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with Tinker or just joining us in the game, the problem with the Tinker is he can reset his skills, and if he has a Blink Dagger, it means he can comfortably push all the way up to even here next to a tower because he knows that he has the ability to blink to safety after he puts out his marches. In comes Ursa, gets caught by a nice slow by Storm. Big throwback though. Swagmuffins comes from the backside, and that's going to hurt their ability to right click, but it will cost them Ursa. They were caught inside of a macro pyre. It was a huge play by Storm. The turnaround stun, and they get a double out of it. And really, that was on the back of two really smart plays. Yes, Keeper of the Light absolutely crushed it with the knockback, but Storm hit the absolute perfect macro pyre.
And that was a very, very good use of macro pyre. You place it in such a way that your opponent cannot run through it, but that's the only real direction that they have to go to survive. And so, Kobayashi Maru, they end up dead, right?
That was... Yes, that's a good use of Kobayashi Maru. That was pretty solid. All right, so now the pushes begin. We go towards the mid. There's the harassment. This is the problem with the Tinker again, is look how far back. He's back there. He's throwing out rockets. He's saying, if you want to contest us, you've got to do it at half health. Maxim comes in, gets caught with a nice stun from the Ogre. Omni Slash bounces around, followed by the spin. That'll be one down. He does manage to get down his snakes, but they'll just spin away happily. Ursa is low. Meanwhile, yep, so that rocket too strong. Sniper was able to pick off the Jakiro, but that's a trade they'll take all day, as Ursa is the only hero who has a potential answer. He was second in net worth. He's dropped down to third by a significant margin because they're just catching him. There's so many stuns and so many ways to kite him during his initiation phase. And Gorgon, what does an Ursa do after that first 4 seconds?
Yeah, I'm not sure how this Ursa really contributes to team fights at all into the Darkseer unless he has a BKB. But he's going to need to get the negative armor before he can get the BKB. Otherwise, he's not able to blow anybody up fast enough. And then on top of that, you have the mischance, right, that you were mentioning. And I don't think that he can initiate is basically what it comes down to. It has to be the Abaddon running in. But he's only level 10. He doesn't even have... Yeah, his level 2 ult yet.
Swagman Muffins goes down. Nice play by Storm with the defensive ice path. And yeah, they're playing it well. Tinker's just hanging back. They get baited forward. And another pause as these heat-seeking missiles go out. They're going to hit Star and they're going to hit I Am Not a Spy. That said, what they're doing is Tismic's playing a really good game. They're sending in the Omni Knight first, or not the Omni Knight, the Omni Slash, the Juggernaut first, and Tismic hangs back because they know that Ursa has to try to contest the Juggernaut. The problem is the second he does, Tismic hits him with the laser beam, which means that he completely loses any of his ramp up and is dead before he can do anything. It's just insanely hard to be Ursa in this match.
Yeah, it's once again, it's like, what do you do? Who is your frontliner if you are Vanderbilt at this stage in the game? Because it sure can't be the Ursa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who. I mean, Sniper will never be a frontliner. Right now, they're sort of using Abaddon, but he's just never in the position to be out there. And his farm is he got the Iron Talent because he was so desperate to try and get something going. It's just not really working. And I mean, he picked up the Vlad's offering, but if you can't right click, you're not getting much out of that.
Yeah, and what is this? A Lotus Orb is going to be the build on the Abaddon. That's a very expensive item. He might never
get there
that at this pace, right? And he does not have any mechanism for flash farm. And if he did, his carries would need that gold because his carries are so far behind. Honestly, if they're not able to get out and get some objectives here relatively soon, this game might just be lost to them, barring some serious mistakes coming from Rutgers.
I mean, we're talking about a 7,500 gold lead. Is it the 1,000 per minute we saw in the last match? No. But it's pretty significant. XP is at 6,000 right now, and the top 3 farmers are all on the Radiant side, including Gorgon, the Darkseer, who had an arguably very difficult start to this game. Aaron has got the mech up and running. He's got Guardian Greaves. He's almost about to finish those up. He's, 100 gold away. So this becomes significantly more difficult when you've got the Darkseer in there with the ability to use the Guardian Greaves into the vacuum and just sort of prolong these fights even more. There's so much burst damage on the side of the Dire. I think those Guardian Greaves could really just be the answer to making Dire feel completely impotent in these team salvos.
Yeah, and the Manta is how far away now? Is it on the courier?
The Manta, let's look at the courier.
Or is it okay? He's still pretty far away from the Manta, so that's good at least. The tier 3s will probably require that Manta to be finished. Tier 2s probably not.
So it is nice they slow it down a little bit. That said, though, we just hit the 18-minute mark. He will very likely, once they finish off this fight, here's my guess, is that they will potentially turn around. If they get a kill on I'm Not a Spy and he's able to very quickly path this down before the 19-minute respawn, which he can with the Battle Fury, that means Manta is 2 minutes away at the max. So they turn.
I don't think that's an unrealistic read of the situation as dire as that seems.
So they're going to decide to back off. They don't go for that kill. Juggernaut is going to do that. So he starts his farm rotation. Look how fast he's clearing these creep waves. He needs to try and finish off this jungle before the 19 respawn. I imagine he'll go up and do Ancients if at all possible. Meanwhile, up on top, Aaron doing a Tinker-style split push. He's got the Surge, so he's got to be careful here because the Blink Dagger is up on the Ursa. They see him, they move on him. He doesn't get the stomp, so he will be in some trouble, but the Mana Leak works out. There's the Shackle. Dead Darkseer. and the rest of the team will capitalize. Tismic will come up, get a little bit of push. Meanwhile, in the mid, they'll start to lean on this tower, and we'll get it down. So that should get Juggernaut close to Ultimate Orb. I assume he'll farm up their creep camp here real quick. Yeah, he just won't let them have anything.
Yeah, and why would he? You know,
Right.
they're already behind. He's been able to take the map control. If they come fight him, he'll just Omni Slash him. And the Tinker is never far away because of those boots of travel.
Yeah. Oh, God, this is so tough. So he goes in, clears out their creep camp, walks away, farms his lane. He's sitting at 2100 right now, so abundantly close to that Manta coming out, and that's going to be a very tough situation. But Marksum finally gets himself into the Roche pit. Remember, Abaddon built him the lifesteal so that they could do this without spending the money on Maxim. The question is, will they figure it out? If they do, Aaron is going to hit him with the vacuum. He knows they're there now, rolls in, starts to cause some trouble. Out comes the heat-seeking missiles. The whole team is there on both sides. Nice ice path to buy some space. Macropyre will get them outside of the Roche pit. Good knockback again by Swag Muffins, but it's into the wall. They're forced backwards by just about everything. Everybody is using every zoning spell that they have to try and manage this. Unfortunately, those wards will just feed some gold to the side of the Radiant, and heat-seeking missiles continue to come out and cause a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, the heat-seeking missiles are like annoying, but they're not even the problem, right? The problem is the laser mischance. The problem is the threat of Omni Slash. The fact that the thing killing your entire team isn't even really the problem is a really bad sign.
Right. All right, so we back away. The gold lead, by the way, almost at 10k at this point, and the guys from Radiant will use the work that Ursa already put in and get this Roche to half and try to go and finish it off. They'll immediately put that, I would imagine, Aegis on the Juggernaut, and Juggernaut Aegis, who is 10 gold away from a Manta style, is a very scary Juggernaut. Out comes the Ice Path. He goes for the spin to finish. Maxim tries to steal. Juggernaut picks it up. Now he's in the mix, but he's got the Aegis. He's coming back up. DNE with the slow. Maxim tries to run for the hills. Karate Man pulled back into the Macropyre. Nice little combo, brothers. There's the Ice Path. Maxim in some trouble. Omni Slash to finish the job. They get the Roche. They steal the Aegis. They have to burn it, but that's all they lose for the price of 2, and the Ursa goes down. Immediate top push from 1, 2, 3. The Manta style able to be finished up right now, and things are unraveling faster and faster for Vanderbilt.
Oh yeah, and this is just going to start to snowball even worse, if that's imaginable, right? Now there's no Roshan, so there's no necessarily catchback mechanic for the Ursa to move into. He cannot flash farm like this Juggernaut can, because the Juggernaut has a Battle Fury. And you can just see it is unraveling in every mechanism. They're losing team fights, they're losing map control, they're losing objectives. And they are still 5,000 net worth on the Ursa away from being able to have him contribute to these fights.
Yeah. So Tismic is going to find Swag. Tismic gets Swag Muffins down on the bottom. Juggernaut hits that tower down, doesn't even care about the TPs, takes it, and will rotate away. And this is what they did last time. They very systematically pushed down the 3 tier 2s and then made their rotations. They're already pinging out, so the guys from Radiant also know where the wards are on the Dire side. They're doing a very good job of controlling this map. 11,000 gold lead. XP also continue to climb. This Juggernaut quickly becoming an unstoppable force, and there is no immovable object to try and run up against him, as Ursa has just sort of fallen apart. All he has still is the Blink Dagger and the Blightstone, trying to get a Desolator up and running to, I guess, help the Sniper as much as possible from range. It's a good combo. The problem is Sniper also desperate for farm. He bought the recipe for a Maelstrom, has a Dragon Lance, but that's about all that's going on for them. So they don't have the damage output to deal with the control, and especially things like the Veil of Discord coming out of the Jakiro.
Yeah, I think the Maelstrom is actually a really good item choice here. It's going to help substantially with the push and being able to high ground defend. That said, what do you do on that high ground defense once it finally comes to a head? You might be able to stall it and put a lot of net worth onto your Sniper in doing so. But you're not putting net worth onto your Ursa if your Sniper is, you know, pushing back the waves the way that it's going to need to. And that brings us back to the same problem, that your Ursa is like 5,000 net worth away from being really able to contribute in these fights, barring a serious screw up by Rutgers.
Absolutely. And that's what it's going to take. Aaron's farming up the ancient camp as he looks like he's getting going for his. This is going to be a little while until he gets up and running on his next piece, but it doesn't matter because he's got the Greaves, and they were absolutely instrumental here in the fight towards the Roche Pit. Have a let Juggernaut get out of control as he is up top farming up his Butterfly next. I like that pickup because he knows that there's no chance that you're going to see an MKB anytime soon, right? So it's a great pickup at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's very unlikely you're going to see an MKB at any time.
Ever, right.
Right, because they're so far behind. That's so much of a luxury item.
Exactly. So it makes him already impossible to hit because of the Tinker Open, but this just means when you talk about the Ursa, he's the only one who can handle the Juggernaut right now because of the way that Sniper's being zoned out by the supports. Ursa has to get, for those of you who don't know, continuous hits on his opponent to increase his damage. If you've got the Butterfly going, it's going to limit the amount of stacks that he can get and just makes it even easier to sort of take him apart. Now let's look down here. It looks like we got a smoke rotation potentially. Ursa picked up a double damage room, but he's not going to be able to attack in time. It will run out. Hex Chicken runs fast. 1, 2, 3, 4 comes out. Wants Swag Muffin. Swag to the high. There's the wall. Omni Slash to get the kill. Heat-seeking missiles push everybody backwards. And what started as a potential gank ends up going very badly. Tismic, though, will ultimately go down to the Ursa. 1, 2, 3, 4 wants to play on him. Maxim in some trouble getting chased hard. Phase boots used. Surge as well. Maxim drops. There's the spin to win. He's going to catch Maxim, but he can't stick around. He's taking too much damage. He goes down. Sniper plus the Wars puts out some massive hurt. And they end up getting the Juggernaut and the Tinker, the two top net worth. That's a very big pickup for them, and it moves Sniper and Ursa into the 2 and 3 position. That is insanely powerful for these guys.
Yeah, that by itself is enough to change the narrative of this game. I don't know that it really changes which side has momentum, because there's not going to be an objective capitalization off of it, but it definitely swats Rutgers on the nose and gives some core itemage out. And now that the Desolator's been done, right, the BKB is next, and you're getting, after that fight, you're a lot closer to BKB than you otherwise would be, even with like 4 or 5 minutes of inactivity.
And that's going to be huge, especially because they killed the Juggernaut, so that will slow down his Butterfly progression a little bit. If he can get that BKB before the Butterfly is online and stop those stuns, I think he gets a couple of pickoffs and sort of gets himself back on par with where he needs to be. Speaking of, makes the jump, goes for DNE. DNE is still inside of sentry range, but not for much longer. They need to catch him. Heat-seeking missiles come out, push everyone back. They're still pinging, but they will not get DNE as he is going to walk out the back door. Smart play, by the way. This is very presence of mind oriented. A lot of players on that Ogre situation would have turned around and tried to get a slow or a stun out to save their lives, but instead DNE said, they've got to have sentry wards. I haven't seen dust. I'm just going to run and pray that I get out of range.
Yeah, that's sort of the difference level that you're going to see between like a pub level player and somebody who is making it to the top 32 in CSL, right? I would expect that heads up play from a top 32 CSL player. I'm glad that he's not panicking. It does go to show that despite the fact that they did just get swatted on the nose, he is still clued into the game, that they're paying attention.
Ooh, Swag Muffins, and might be in a little trouble. DNE is here. He's got backup coming in the form of the Surge. Swag Muffins actually may have backfired on himself as he does that. Takes away some mana. We've got the wand. The stun is up in 1, but they will not go to the high ground, smartly so, as the Cavalry is TPing en masse to save the Coddle. The problem is they burnt a lot of TPs to get down there to help Coddle out, which means that 1, 2, 3, 4 can comfortably farm up this section of the jungle without worrying about rotations to stop him.
Yeah, honestly, I think he was probably pretty comfortable there anyway, because who's going to come stop him, right? He is 16,000 net worth. The next closest is Sniper at 11,000, and Sniper is just not a hero kit that is well designed to deal with the Juggernaut. So.
Absolutely, especially when the Omni Slash is up, because he closes with the spin and then just wreaks havoc. Sniper does not look like he's going to go for the Shadow Blade build, so he has no escape from the Omni Slash in that term. He's just got the Hurricane Pike and to hope to keep distance, which I think is the right choice, but it does make him very vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to point to the fact that the Ursa did just pass the Tinker in net worth, which honestly is not something that should have been possible this game. Tinker might catch back up here with a free kill on the Keeper of the Light. No, Keeper is going to get away with a very nice man.
Or will he?
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yep, he does. So Karate Man comes forward and takes one of the missiles, which is incredibly helpful.
the keeper light got hit by a missile too, right?
That's true.
Because he launches two. He launches two. So.
So they come to try and get the help. He manages to get to the high ground. He's able to get out, but sends a message that every time, and this is the third time, that Keeper Light has tried to get a ward in his opponent's jungle so that they could get some farming done. He is caught by a Tinker and pushed back across the river.
Yeah, fortunately he's not dying here. In a
Right.
lot of situations, especially into like a Tinker Juggernaut, you would be a dead support if you tried to make that happen.
Absolutely.
But really, probably the only reason he's surviving these is because the Juggernaut has free reign to farm his opponent's jungle, so he's never down here. Which is obviously not the best reason to not be dying, but at least your Keeper Light hasn't died when realistically he probably should have.
All right, so Aaron has finished up the Lotus Orb, so that's a Dark Seer Lotus Orb. The Juggernaut now has enough gold, if my math is right, to finish up his Talisman of Evasion, so he will have the Butterfly done in the next fight. And he has managed to clear out a full spawn rotation of creeps as well across both sides of the jungle. So he is swimming in gold. He's Uncle Scrooging, if you will. And Storm sitting on... What's he going for next, it looks like? Surely he's not going for an eggs.
No, it looks like he is.
Intriguing. That's confidence right there.
You know, the axe is not a terrible item.
No, it's great. It's great, and being that he clearly has shown he knows how to play macro pyre angles very well, it's great. But it's a very situational build.
I mean, he could be going for Octarine, but I just don't think that.
No, I don't think so.
I think the axe is a little bit better at just breaking high ground. Because you can cast it from so far away. It does so much damage, and you can force your opponents completely off their tower from complete safety. And
playing
moreover,
it
if your
very
opponents
bold.
have a sniper with all that range, the axe allows you to close that distance and some with your magical damage.
All right, smoke comes out. 1, 2, 3, gonna lead the charge. He has the Omni Slash and everything else online, headed towards the bottom lane. His team turns back around when they see a fight possible. They catch the Shadow Shaman inside the ice. Laser to finish. Tismic jumps forward. Swag Muffins get knocked back. He's trying to run for the hills. When missile will come out, it'll go to Abaddon, but we'll still see the death of the Coddle. Omni Slash. Did I hear an Omni Slash used? Nope, it's still off a cooldown as they go into the tier 2. There's not anything they can do to contest this with their 2 supports down right now. This may allow them to make a high ground push if they want to.
Yeah, 30 seconds without a Keeper Light hurts. I don't know if it hurts that bad.
It forces rotation, but look how fast he's tearing through this tower. Aaron's going to come in and give him the defense that he needs as they watch it out. They really want to finish. Look how fast he's regenning right now.
Yeah, the
He hasn't even manted. They're going to go in. Karate Man Johnson taking some damage to the high ground. Here comes the stun. They're going to pop his ultimate. Spin to win. Juggernaut on the way out. DNE comes forward to make sure that Juggernaut stays safe. And Storm and DNE have played an absolutely amazing support and protect game so far. He does get caught out. Jakiro will be sacrificed to the gods, and he will go down. But Radiant happy with the tier 2 and all of the tier 3.
Yeah, and they're going to get a shrine. They're also going to get a tier. More than likely. Because Omni Slash was preserved here, I don't know that this is a Roche attempt that can be contested. Maybe if the Ursa gets in there and gets his ult off to tank Omni Slash, that's really the only situation that I see that going potentially well.
Absolutely. All right, gold lead at 15,100, XP at 10. And I don't know, man. This is definitely becoming trouble. The Manta I didn't realize that the copies from the Manta also make cool lines as they run.
Yeah, man, they do everything that a real Juggernaut.
Even they get dragons too?
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
I gotta.
Would you,
now I want to buy the Arcana.
I mean, if they didn't, then it would be very easy to pick out which was the real.
That's true. Good point.
Fight, right?
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's definitely want to buy it now.
You know, when I just had one dragon, I was like. But now I got 3 dragons, I'm like, Gaben, take my money.
If I get 3 dragons and an illusion rune, that's like 5 dragons. 5 dragons is the coolest amount of dragons.
Yeah, it definitely. 6 dragons would be too much, I agree.
No, too strong. Nobody wants 6 dragons. Starfire Phoenix would love 6 dragons as he runs away from Aaron and the crew. They do throw down the wall outside of range. Starfire up on the high ground. They do not have a shrine to fight under, so keep that in mind. Storm going to get stunned. Mark has to fall backwards from those heat-seeking missiles. Storm will get himself out of range with a big macro pyre. They lost the sniper. It's a big pick-off for them. Omni on the chase. He has Omni Slash up and can turn around and use it for safety reasons. Nice blink from I Am Not a Spy. That was as close as he could have gotten. Comes forward, pops the ultimate, will heal him up with the Omni Slash, but doesn't care. He just wanted to stay with him, basically. Burns him down, buyback from the sniper, and they will have to spin themselves out of this. In comes Ursa. He picks off Jakiro. They're inside of the ward fight. 1, 2, 3 has to be careful, but the Battle Fury is putting in some work. Abaddon goes down. Stun from DNE. Sniper falls back, as does the rest of the team. Tismic is here to harass. 1, 2, 3 thinking about going in, but he's got the mana leak. Gets hit with the coddle, and that should confirm his desire to back away. Aegis is up, by the way, on Juggernaut, for those who may not have caught that, which is why he is playing so ridiculously bold right now. All right, Tismic and DNE aiding Juggernaut on the push. They don't want to back off because they've got the Aegis of the Immortal. They've got 3,000 gold in the bank, so an Abyssal Blade will be coming out soon, and that's going to be very tough for the Sniper to deal with once that is up and running. 1, 2, 3, 4 gets all of that farm. In comes the Taker. Huge vacuum for 3, but they're not going to be able to capitalize as the Hex comes out, the knockback, and the lockup. That'll blow the Aegis. Can he get away is the question. He has the spin, so he can spin TP. He's going to look for that right now. Spin, walks out the back door. Aaron is watching. The chase is on. Maxim has to back away from the Manta. Swag Muffins drops down, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is right back into the mix. Tismic will do his Tinker thing, which is the most annoying hero in the game, as he goes off and pushes a separate lane. 20,000 gold lead, XP at 12. The guys from Rutgers look like they want to wrap this up in 2 and continue down the pipeline for the $50,000 and the LAN final in Toronto. Nice freeze. That's going to catch them. That's a bad news Bears. They catch one inside. Karate Man's got to be careful here. Swag Muffin's on the backup. They did lose Jakiro as they jump in from the Maxim. Maxim has to run away, though. Hex comes out. Very strong. Karate Man Johnson forced backwards. He does have his ultimate to survive, though, so that will pop now. They immediately back away and choose not to proc it as often as they did last time around. Ogre Magi caught in a shackle. 1, 2, 3, 4 gets the Ursa, who thought he could get a jump-in kill. You're going to get a nice play from the Yules to buy some time. He goes to the Omni Slash. I am not a spy. Takes the brunt of it. Coddle goes down as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 on Karate Man Johnson, walks out the back door, ultimate not available, gets killed by the heat-seeking missiles. That's 4 down. They push to the high ground. Can they make it a 5-man wipe? The missiles say yes, baby. That's a team wipe, and the boys from Rutgers march down the lane, take out the tower, and will get themselves a Rax, maybe 2. This could be GG as the buybacks are burnt. The glyph is 2, but will it be enough? They've got to last for 22 seconds. Can they do it? Maxim comes in. Already the miss chance is up. At the same time, he enrages. That's what they wanted. They start to move. The Butterfly putting in some work. Karate Man pops the ultimate. He's dropping low. Down goes the Ursa. Karate Man's ultimate about to end. If they can kill him, that should be it. He is dropping fast. He goes down. The supports will come back, but there's no buybacks, baby. They're going to push these racks. The GG comes out, and Rutgers advances to the next round to face UBC in what might be one of the games of the tournament. So tune in for that, guys, because that's going to be a whopper.
Yeah, it looks like I disconnected for about 2 minutes, and exactly what I would have expected happened.
They got brutal. Things got dirty, and boy, oh boy, the guys from Rutgers played it well. Storm throws down all of his stuff inside. The canceling comes out, and then they uncancel it. The Ancient goes down. Rutgers takes the win and moves on to the next round, boys. It's going to be sweet. I think it's Sweet 16 next week for them, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find us at Toffees TV and at the Wonder Cow. You can find all of us at C Star League. A big shout out to Ace Republica Gamers and Twitch for making this possible, and Band, our premier social app for the CSL. Gorgon, let's do both. Let's do this game. Who is your player of the game in this match?
I'll give player of the game both matches to Storm Soldat, to be honest.
Yeah.
This game, he made a lot of sacrifices. He died a lot in that Jakiro. Some of them were not necessarily MVP player deaths, but a lot of them really were him making a sacrifice for his team.
Absolutely.
And, I'm always attracted to that kind of decision making.
Now, I enjoy agreeing with you, but in this situation, I'm going to go a little bit against the grain, and I'm going to say my player of the game, believe it or not, is from the losing team. I'm going to give it to I'm Not a Spy, because I think that he gave a real chance to his team to have a good start to this game. Ursa had a really strong lane because of his support. His rotations were strong, and his lockdown was absolutely phenomenally well timed. it just wasn't enough. But I think that that's an example of a support who played his brains out, and the cores just couldn't get to where they needed to go.
Sure.
So
Unfortunately for us, there's enough band gaming to go around that we can give out lots of band gaming MVPs.
many MVPs are throwing them out like confetti. One for me, one for you. Here's a band gaming. Here's a band gaming MVP. Guys, that was a lot of fun. Come back. We'll be here next week. We've got 2 games going. We're going to have one starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and one starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'll be on C-Star League 1 and 2 with more Dota tournament action. Toronto, the grand finals, the top 4 teams will be flown out there for the LAN to play for $50,000 in scholarships. Super hyped about this, guys. If you want to go, the tickets should be going on sale. You can check out the website. It's going to be from the 12th to the 14th, and we're going to have everything Dota, League of Legends, and all the rest there represented. So don't miss it. It's your chance to experience greatness. Have a wonderful evening. Gorgon, any last thoughts before we sign out for the night?
No, I'm just really excited to be in the playoffs again this year. You know, we're there, we're finally there, and I think the games are going to start getting really good really fast.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. The players bring in their A game. Can't wait to see it. We'll see you on Thursday, boys and girls. Have a wonderful night. Oh, yeah. Toffee's out.